Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Black Psychologist Podcast, presented by the Black Psychologist Network, the Psychology of Love edition, where we discuss all things related to dating, relationships, marriage, divorce, etc. I am one half of your humble and gracious host, Dr. Kyle Osborne. He is I, and I am him. And of course, you all know I'm never here by myself. I'm not flying this aircraft by myself. I'm joined by New Jersey's finest, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. My esteemed colleague, my friend, my brother, Dr. Jason Coleman. What's going on, good brother?
Good, man. Working hard, relaxing, but it's one of those special days, man. It's not about me. It's one of those special days, man. But I'm good. I'm good.
Well said, absolutely. And of course, it's only appropriate that when talking about relationships, that we bring in one of the leading experts in the field. This amazing psychologist has counseled and helped thousands of couples in their relationship journey. One of the stars of the hit series, Conversation with the Kennys. She's backed by popular demand, our sister in medicine, the love doctor herself, Dr. Ashley Poole. What's going on, Ash?
Ooh, with that introduction there, I'm feeling like Ali out here, you know what I'm saying? But everything is good. Like Jay said, it's rainy out today. It's not about us, but we here to serve. That's what we do. So it's always a pleasure to be back with two of my favorite gentlemen. So looking forward to digging into this relationship talk. We always get it popping.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. We are here to serve, provide individuals with some recommendations, some tips as they navigate this here dating landscape. And the first thing I feel like we should get into is I wanted to run this past you guys. I want to run this past the love panel in regards to social media compatibility. All right. So much we always talk about physical compatibility, sexual compatibility, emotional compatibility, all these other different things, right? But what I feel like is not talked about is social media compatibility, for the reason that if you look at it, there's been like a high prevalence of numbers in regards to social media being the reason why relationships don't work, right? It's been cited in a lot of reasons for divorce and litigation, like just that incompatibility in regards to social media style and personalities between individuals while they're in a relationship. So I wanted to get your input on how important this is in a relationship. When you might have someone that posts a lot and someone that doesn't, someone that has a situation where maybe they have their brand is social media and others doesn't. Some person, all these other just kind of different kind of social media presence styles and how important that may be in a relationship. So I wanted to get your take on that, Dr. P. What do you think?
So y'all know I love social media. I've done presentations on social media and mental health. And, to your point, it is something like newer that people are having to reflect on. It's like you can like everything about the person, y'all vibing, but then you see like they acting like a nut on social media. And in their mind, it's like this whole social media is not real. So, like I'm just up there with my alias, or I'm not, putting you out there. I actually know a couple. They did get divorced. They did have very different social media usage styles. But that wasn't, that in itself wasn't the only reason, but it was, it was important because if you think about it, most social media users that are like active and high users, and especially if they're brand content creators, they are using social media a lot often. So it does kind of come up. It's like every day you can post something triggering to your partner. So I do think that it's important, but I do think that it's something that can be worked out. Usually individuals are willing to compromise. Sometimes the compromise is you not following your partner. So then you're not even aware of what they're doing on social media. And then another strategy that I've seen people utilize is if they're not following each other, or they're telling peers like, look, don't tell me what, so-and-so is doing on social media. And I've seen it resolved in that way, but I also have seen it, kind of conflictual. I mean, and with OnlyFans, is that social media? Because wasn't it a basketball player, a retired ex-basketball player that ended up like ending it with his wife because he found out she had OnlyFans?
Yeah, that's
So I
Yeah, I
included.
think
think that
that's
was
the
Joe.
whole.
I think that was
Was
Joe
that it?
Smith's wife, right? That was Joe
Yeah,
Smith.
yeah. And then she
Yeah,
went on gay cam massage on.
yeah,
It is what it
Yeah,
is. So
he went on
so
a show. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So with
yeah.
that being said, I do think that, it can make or break you, but I haven't, usually it's something else. It's not only this person is amazing, great, they got screwed up social media, I want it to end. It's like, you already not, on my level or doing what I need you to do, and you spending all your time on social media. So that's just kind of my perspective because I haven't seen it in relationships from my experience, but I have seen it become a reason for people to act out.
Hmm. What you think, Jack?
I think context is important, right? Kind of like um, stages and ages, like not directly applicable, but like why you're using it, right? Because if it's two people that are like young or middle aged, whatever, and they're building a brand and they're on social media a lot, then that may be something that kind of brings them together, right? Now, I was reading a stat on Pew that was saying they were talking about like partner relationships, not necessarily married people, but living people that live together. And they were saying like up to 40% of the people surveyed were saying they're bothered by their partner's social media use. Right.
Hmm.
Now that it could be a lot of different things, right? It could be like, oh, this person works too much, they're too busy, or it could be like, oh, they're checking up on their ex, oh, they're looking, their attention is in a place where it's either not on me or it's not on the things that help our relationship, right? Our kids, whatever it is. So again, I think the context is going to be very important, right? Because anything like, again, if you guys are working together and it's bringing money into the household, then you're working on strategies to promote a business that you created, or whatever, bring eyes to a page or something that generates you know um, income for your family or a relationship or whatever. That's going to be a benefit. But when you start talking about the personal stuff, right, that takes your attention away from your partner, then that's going to be a problem. I mean, and most of the time, especially when we start talking about people that are like dating, it's like checking up on exes. It's your eyes and attention being on other people and other things. So I think that's where the problems arise. You know what I mean?
I think also a conversation needs to take place about the value, importance, right, of social media in each person's life. Like how important is it for you to get likes? You know what I mean? Like, is that part of your love language? Is it a situation like if you post something, you're expecting me to like that or comment on it or whatever the case is? Because I've seen situations where you may have the young lady may post something, and if her dude is not really on social media, or he didn't see or he didn't like, but everyone else is, that could cause a problem,
Right.
right? So I think
Hmm.
having that conversation, like, hey, listen, how important is it to you? Like, if I don't see your post, or if like you do work or whatever, and I don't respond to it, or I don't see whatever you're doing on social media, like if I don't respond to it, is that important? Right?
Yeah.
Because you have some people again who put different values in the likes or the responses, the comments, or whatever the case may be. And you need to know, like, if you just started talking to your partner, like, were they big on social media beforehand? Right? Like, you should kind of expect it. Don't get into the relationship, and if they're not putting a lot of time towards that, and it's,
Hmm.
oh well, I don't, like, you knew that before the situation started, or kind of coming into it.
I mean,
So
that
now you
sounds
gotta lose
that
sight of that.
sounds crazy to me, but I believe it. And honestly, like, especially when you're talking
What
about
part
like
sounds
somebody
crazy? When you say it sounds
like,
crazy, what part?
I mean, like, it sounds like outrageous, like somebody posting a picture and then being upset when their partner didn't like it, because that.
Happens.
But I know,
Oh,
It happens.
no, I know it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying like you would think, you would think that that person is like showing you admiration, love, whatever it is, in other ways, right? Because you're supposed to be with the person, right?
Man,
So it's
brother.
not like
people, it's different. Like you said, it's ages and stages, right? So like me and my best friend, we talk a lot about like meaning, like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you do something, what it means. And, you
Okay.
know, like it's the cognitive model, thoughts, feelings, behavior. If your thought is, my man ain't check, he need to be checking for me every day. Like I saw this video recently. This girl posted, she was like, I don't want to be an independent woman no more. Like I'm tired of being independent. Like for some reason, independence with some women is associated with masculinity. And she was like, I don't want to be independent. I don't want to do nothing. I'm an ass. And if I ask you and you don't get it, then like the thought process of today's population, because you have to think social media is now like a person's identity. It's almost like your yearbook or your commercial. So it's kind of like, why aren't you tapped in? Because I'm gonna tell you, like that same dude disliking her stuff, she like, oh, he that means something. That means he admires me. And
And
it
it
could
was
mean
what
something
if
to
you like
her.
somebody else's stuff too, Ash? What if you? Oh, I thought you like what? But you ain't like
Oh,
mine.
oh, see, that now that's the gotcha,
No,
gotcha.
but what if it's like a person that you like live with or something, and you just
Man, you
nah
might
nah
get
nah, hear
even
me
more,
out.
even more so.
Hear me
Like, yo,
out.
I live with you and you ain't like
Yeah.
it.
All right,
So
listen, man. Before you, I know the campaign you on, but let me advocate for the other side first. I know the campaign you loosen up the cape, but I know the campaign you on. What I'm saying is, you could have just hopped out the bed, made breakfast, and just kissed him on the forehead and said, "Yo, you look beautiful." I gotta go on social media and like the
because I
same
need
outfit I
everybody else
just
to
saw you
know.
in.
Why you telling me in private? You don't want Kyle to know that
Yo,
you
Hey,
you know that, man.
that's what I'm talking about. See?
Yo, come on.
you telling me when it's just
All right.
me and you.
Yeah,
Both of y'all
Where's
and
the
both of
public?
y'all are making my point for me. Like that, it's
it's a love
a
language,
liquid thing.
Listen,
bro.
the love language, no, it's real because like I was looking at a black couple popped up on my page and I said that I was on the phone with my best friend. I was shifting the screen share and I was like, is this a good looking couple? She came up with every word except good looking, right? So she was like, oh, they look happy. You
Mhm.
know, that's like, it's a black family. I want to be happy for that, whatever. I said, you're using every word except for are they a good looking couple? And she was like, she finally said, okay, they're good looking. So then I went to Keisha from Total and Omar Epps, you know, they're a couple. And all of their pictures, I was like, is this a, now she was like, no, that's a good looking couple. She said, but that's their goal. Their goal is like when you see their pictures, it looks like they coordinated with their wardrobe. Like you could tell, like when LeBron and Savannah are going to an event, they're not, it don't look like she going to Whole Foods and look like he going to the Grammys. Like they're complimenting each other. She says sometimes like the way that people pose, you can tell that that's what they're going for to kind of sell that you know, we're an attractive couple. So with that being said, people are like, do it for the gram. I ain't gonna do it. Do it for like in their mind, it's kind of like it's not really real if everybody doesn't know about it. If my homegirls when I come into work or my homeboys when I come to work, because Andrew Tate said men marry women for status. Like he wants a woman that's gonna make him look good or make him look better or be better.
Well,
So I want my baddie up here. So let's not make it seem like it's only the ladies that's doing this because it's some of the brothers that's up there, you know, yeah, you know, you ain't
well,
like
yeah,
my
well, you
gym pic.
said a lot. You said a lot as usual, and I appreciate it. But we got to take that apart piece by piece because my first question is this: not take it apart, but talk about it first. Can attention be a love language? Like that?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Craving attention.
Physical touch is.
Yo,
yeah, it's attention, right? So you got to
right.
figure
All
that's
right, but
what most people
listen,
want.
listen. I loosen up your cape, brother, because you didn't even let me make my point
I'm
before
going
you.
in.
You know, because understand what I'm saying. Physical touch, right? We can pinpoint physical touch, right? We can we can what is the word I'm looking for? When it comes to physical touch, we can connect that to a need, right? A need that is satisfied, right? Right? We can connect that to a core need, right? Something that's functional. What core need or something that a person needs to survive can we connect attention to, like in that manner?
PDAs, public displays of affection. So now PDAs have gone from putting your hand on my back when we're walking down the street and holding my hand and helping me out the car and putting me on the inside of the street when we're walking. Like PDAs have now evolved. Before it was like, are you comfortable like kissing in the supermarket, giving Eskimo kisses before you go to work, you know, when you're
Right.
taking your lunch from me. So public displays of affection, social media is now would be kind of under that umbrella of public
Well,
displays of affection.
I'm not talking about people that don't want to be seen like taking pictures with people that they're associated with. That's something totally different. Like we already had the post your spouse conversation. I'm cool with that. I'm talking about people who validate themselves through like likes
No,
and
that's what I'm saying, right?
because in
Right.
order to get to what we're talking about, you have to physically go look at your picture and then look through the people that looked at it and say, yo, Kyle didn't like it. I got 34 other likes, but Kyle didn't like it. So now I'm dissatisfied.
It's
To
happening.
me, that's a fundamental difference than somebody that's saying, yo, a hug makes me feel secure. Because what you're with that, what we're the road we're going down with that, you know what I mean? It's like an empty pit. You know what I'm saying? There is no satisfying a person that has that type of need, right? Because what if it's not you? What if it's 30 likes? What if it's 100 likes? That to me, there's a big difference between that and somebody that's saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? When somebody hugs me, when my kids kiss me on the cheek, it makes me feel secure. It makes me feel, loved. It makes me feel that's a little different to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's the
that.
equivalent to somebody putting a note in your lunchbox. So you got the woman or the man that packs their partner just a lunch, and you got the partner or that packs a lunch and adds a love note. And so to me, it's kind of like words of affirmation because it's like the hard eyes up there. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a public display of affection, but it's also like a word of affirmation because you might say, oh, like my boo a baddie, like and then it's like, y'all see it.
And listen, bro, I agree with you. I feel like that would be a red flag or it's indicating of someone else that has
Y'all so mature
issues. But right, and that's what I'm saying.
Yo,
Like we're coming from a very mature set of like
and educated.
right, educated. There are some individuals I'm trying to tell you, especially let's keep in mind I don't want to be like the old man get off my lawn, but the individuals that in generation have grown up like recognition on all that of affection, all of that is tied into social media. And and I know, like when people have likes and everyone's in the friend network joint, like you can see so and so also like this, right? And you may have someone who says, "Look, you know what I mean? Did you see my post, right? Because that question can be asked like very casually, like, "Oh, did you see my post on such and such?" And oh no, I didn't see it. Well, how did you didn't see it? But I saw that you saw someone else's thing. Just saying, it can happen, bro.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but to me,
Media.
I just look at those things as connected to like self-esteem, like popularity is.
Oh yeah, I
Right?
agree. But
And
that's
like feeling like you have nice clothes on when you go to school, right? It's that type of to me, it's that type of validation that you get from that, right? So I would never connect that to like a genuine friendship, right? Or a genuine feeling you get from a handshake or a hug or a kiss, like to me, like we're in a different place when we're equating like likes, bro, like with
different place, bro. I tell you.
real tangible things. But listen, it works in you and Ashley world. So
yeah, and then no, listen, because I'm not advocating for it, and I do want to say that just because I said for the perspective y'all coming from being educated and thought provoking and more mature, I'm not saying that people that have this preference and need are not they don't have that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that that's just relative to how y'all are able to be more like rationalize why that is not necessarily something that needs to be a big deal or problematic. So if we talk about like ages and stages and phases of life, what if you can't cook me dinner? What if that's the way that we do it? Because you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the stage and age of development. We in college, we in undergrad. I'm a sophomore, you a freshman, you go to Temple, I go to Lincoln. So we ain't seeing each other like that because we ain't got cars. So you ain't cooking me breakfast. We not going. So you got to do something. to let people
So
know
I gotta
that we're
like your
together.
picture. If I don't like your picture,
You better put some hard eyes up
then,
there. What?
then I'm distracted.
Listen, I'm
I'm
telling you.
pulling up
Yo,
on you.
Hey,
You know,
Jay, I'm gonna do some history. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna talk to
yo,
baby girl. She on spring break, but when I get a chance to touch base with her, I'm gonna look, because you know her and her friends, they like in relationships and other different things. I'm gonna ask
yeah.
that question. Like, look,
Okay,
is it
we gotta come
important?
back to it. Like you said, Kyle, we taking
I'm
this
gonna ask.
discussion and dialogue. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask her. Like, listen, is it important? Like, if your dude or your chick or whoever doesn't like you listening, and I'm gonna report back.
Okay.
yeah, I'm sorry, man. I gotta be
Report back.
contrarian on this one. There's no way. I can't, I don't buy it, but I respect y'all, but I don't buy it.
Speaking of social media, Reesa Tessa. All right, everybody familiar with her?
Woo.
All
That's
right.
my sound to let you know I'm familiar. Woo.
Here we go. So this young woman, this young lady has blown up in popularity, given her Who the F Did I Marry series that started out on TikTok, it's on YouTube, and it's just taken on a life of its own. You know, shout out to her for her success on social media. But pretty much just to kind of give a brief summation. This young lady has been detailing and chronicling her uh, relationship in which she married a gentleman who she met online, and she said just from they engaged, they first they what cohabitated through COVID, and then they ended up getting married, and now she's been detailing, they're divorced now, but she's just been detailing her horrible experience of how this gentleman was very dishonest with her from the very beginning, from the beginning of like him having two different profiles on social media to lying about his job. I think he has like a couple criminal charges. He lied about places he was going to take her, and she just says that she was bamboozled throughout the whole situation, right? And she talks about how she ignored there were red flags, but she ignored them for the reason that she was really focused on finding that person and having a family and so on and so forth. So she details this over like, I don't know, like over 8 and 9 hours of like reels and footage and so on and so forth. So Ash, let me know, right? I want to hear from you first, okay? What is your take on Miss Reesa Tessa, and what do you think is driving I guess the popularity? Like what do you think what's been hooking people?
Yeah, so one of my clients actually told me about her. And immediately I did like a quick Google search, see what was going on, because like I don't have 9 hours to dedicate to, listening to everything. But at least from what I gather and understand, it's kind of like this series of like, who the F did I marry? And on the one hand, like I heard that she's made between 86 and $100,000 just already. And so shout out to that, because this is, she's doing like, some numbers. That's a quick little grip. So from that standpoint, there was some skepticism about the validity. But then I started hearing feedback that like his relatives were getting involved, his ex-wife, all that kind of stuff to kind of validate her story. And they said he had mental health issues. I heard bipolar and schizophrenia. I've heard that those were some of the diagnoses that they utilize now. Since I didn't listen to it, and since I don't know her, like just my perspective on that is I've wanted to start researching a little bit more. What type of profile woman is this more or less likely to happen to? Because that's what I was talking to one of my friends, because I don't just think that this can happen to any woman. Like I do think that there's a certain profile of woman, but she did, I believe, gave like 3 reasons why she kind of like overlooked some of the red flags. The first one was like she didn't want to have like a relationship that ended so quickly. The second one was, she wanted to like really be married or whatever or something like that. And I forgot what the third one was. And this isn't verbatim with that, but it's hard. I will say this, it's hard for me to have empathy for individuals that find themselves in that predicament, because I do believe like now I feel empathy for like older adults that get scammed, because my thought is that they really, like scamming is a newer phenomena in terms of like the methods that they go about it and the way that they target you and how they trap you. But in those cases, like women of sound mind and body, at least that's how they present themselves. You could do all these narratives and all of that kind of stuff. It's hard for me to be empathetic towards that, but it's like it's just a wow thing. Like that's my end result and thought is just kind of wow because I know that I want to be sensitive to people that it happens to, but it's just kind of like I listen and then I'm just like wow because at the certain age, maturity is relative, and it's just like
How old is she? She in her 30s or something? 30s?
Let's say so.
she at
Yeah,
least
I mean,
20,
I'm just
she at
yeah.
saying.
least 21.
Yeah,
Nah,
But,
she's a little older. I was gonna play the clip but in the respect of time, I didn't want to but no, she appears to be
I'm
older,
gonna look it up.
not like 40s, but at least mid to late 30s. Yeah, you can check
yeah,
on
that's what I thought.
that. I mean,
Oh,
for
she
me,
25. I thought
Oh,
she
for
was
real?
and then here's another thing that's not really relevant to what you said, Dr. Osmo, but I would still say it. Like they said that she was a part of the Big Bad Crew. Like I think Charlemagne, did you see that where they were
yeah.
saying that? Like I don't know if that's relevant, but Reesa Tessa, whose real name is Teresa McCoy,
But
was
you know
born
what?
this is a quick Google search, was born in
Yeah,
98.
that though, right? So if that's accurate, I have that prompts or activates even more questions for me for the reason that I was coming from kind of similar to you, Ashley, where all right, I don't condone anybody being taken advantage of, right? We understand the game is the game. And if you're kind of coming into a situation and you're kind of putting it all out there, right? Like you're putting it off, you're kind of, I don't want to say for a lack of a better term, desperate. But if you're coming into like an intentional and saying, hey, I want to get married, I'm up against the clock, I want to do this, that, and the third, then what typically takes place is that you tend to sacrifice things that are important to you, right? Like your values, your standards. If you're so desperate to be in a relationship, to start a family, because you feel like you're up against the biological clock, then you're going to sacrifice and kind of like run past these red lights. If you're 25, my question is, and I don't know, her religious background or culture, but it's like, what's the rush, right? Like you're single, young adult, 25, whatever your career or whatever you're doing, what's the rush for you to be in this relationship, right? To start a family or whatever the case is that she said that she needed to have and do. Like, what was the sense of urgency? What was prompting that if you're only 25? I mean, everybody's situation is different, but 25, and Ashley and Jay, y'all could talk to me. Like, at 25, is that a situation where you're like, yo, I gotta find the right one at 25? And I'm willing to kind of just, like, you know what I mean? Like, you still kind of
Yeah,
figuring
that
things
definitely
out.
that
I don't know. Tell me.
that definitely makes it sound a little strange, like the decision making.
Hey,
I wonder how old he was. I mean, it don't really matter. I'm just curious, but like this situation for me, it's like, listen, I could feel sorry for anybody for being like misled in that situation, right?
right.
But I think where you start to kind of lack, empathy is over time, like when it starts to kind of like go on for so long through so many situations, right? Um, First of all, this is genius, right? 50 plus million views. It's about I think 6 hours long, right? I didn't have time to listen to the whole thing, but I've heard clips, right? It sounds like a real life kind of Tyler Perry film in real life. You know what I mean? With all the themes and the twists and the turns and the stuff that's so unbelievable that she got to even tell the audience, like, yeah, I know you're not going to believe this, right? I know you're not going to believe me. She say it over and over, right? And she'd be like saying stuff like, just because reflecting and telling the story, I think even she knows like her decision making is so poor, it borders on ridiculous at times, right? Like the man is showing her pictures of money that doesn't exist. He works somewhere he doesn't exist. He's telling her a life of somebody else. You know what I mean? He's talking on the phone to people that's not there. Like, so after a while, you're going to look at the other person who's telling you the story and you're saying like, you know what I mean? Like what's going on with you that you're accepting this, Now, because this is like, yo, where does like lying meet red flags meet accountability, right? I mean, who knows where the lines are? So it's like you can feel sorry for anybody that's misled, but after a while, it's like this is just thing after thing after thing. Like, trust me, bro. I was just reading something. She did sign with CAA, so she will be on somebody's talk show. They're gonna have a panel with his family members and all of this.
They turn it into a book, brother.
Right, and I wouldn't be surprised.
$300,000 so far. She at 300K. So she, you know, so I mean, you never know the motivation. Like, was it? I'm gonna go through this so I do have story to tell. Like, I don't know. I mean,
Come on,
like
man.
it doesn't
Tyler
sound
Perry
like that.
is working on the script right now.
This is,
Who?
I mean,
Tyler Perry.
Yeah, he probably thinks she stole it from him, or it'll be on Tubi. Trust me.
Oh, it definitely gonna be on Tubi. It's definitely.
And it was like this. Like I was really, because some of the, like you mentioned, the decision making was so like, some of it was just unsafe. Like you're moving in with somebody 2 months to during COVID, and like it just, insight and decision making was just so poor.
Did you say because it was unsafe?
Dude, she moved in with this dude like extra above, like, hey, oh, the COVID, we're on lockdown, let's move in together. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, you funny, man.
She turning red flags pink.
Yeah,
word.
Like,
so
red flags pink. But yeah, no, like I think though, I guess her doing the narrative is some level of accountability because she is, reflecting in hindsight. And, I do wonder, because shoot, if they said he was lying and a pathological liar and scamming and stuff or just
like,
getting over, but she done made the money back if she spent any on him.
Like,
but he has a lot
it
of.
wasn't even like they were like superb lives. Like they were just. They said he was like he worked. He got money
going
for
to London.
Like what are we talking about here? Like
he was telling her simple lies. Like, nah, I was at the store.
Stuff. Yeah, like
he's like, nah, I don't work at the grocery store. I'm a firefighter.
Yeah, like yo, like
yes, y'all see what the first date was?
Where was the first date?
It's a popular restaurant that was mentioned.
Okay, stop playing, yo.
Not that long. And this is a quick Google search. So everything I'm saying is coming from a quick Google search. But where I'm talking about, fellas?
A cheesecake.
They either went to Applebee's or the cheesecake.
Cheesecake. There we go.
Listen, it didn't seem like they were. And again, I don't know dating history or experiences.
Yeah,
they seemed like regular, simple. Like, oh, you coming into the game, like you're gullible. I'm like somebody's gonna take advantage of it. I'm not trying to dogpile on her, but she was talking about like, oh, he promised to take me to London. Anyone that knows me knows I want to go to London. Well, if you came in the first conversation with that, it's like, yeah, babe, I'm gonna take you to London.
Okay. Like Mr. Wayne, he said women overshare. And a lot of times you give the person a cheat code how to
like an intake.
She said, this is supposed to be a direct quote. It was intoxicating. Because, see, I was talking to, one of my friends about it. And she was saying that she really does believe that, there's just, circumstances like that. Like she said that, so my friend's perspective was coming from more of the side of she does have empathy. Because she said it doesn't like, so like I said, I'm more interested in like the psychological profile of a woman that let this happen. So I'm looking at personality traits and like obviously a large portion of people will say, oh, a woman that allows somebody to do that is either immature, low self-esteem or whatever. They ignore those red flags. And my friend was just mentioning how it doesn't necessarily have to be either or. It could be someone that's not a skeptic or someone that's super spiritual, because he was doing a lot of positive things too. You see, like they did actually have a date. So it is a person, because it's people getting catfished and they sending money and falling in love with a person they never even met before. Like I've worked with people like that too. But at least with this, she said, so the quote, it says, it was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about paying the bills. It was a wonderful feeling. So I guess, you know what I'm saying? He would give a little, lie a little, give a little, lie a little, and that little sequence.
He gave enough so
that
she could buy into the dream.
And that's the thing where I feel like I know it resonates with people, right? Like I get that aspect of it, because like you can go anywhere and people are talking about it, right? Majority women, I'm not generalizing, but majority this is for them. And I get it. Like it resonates because at some point in time, most people have, had game run on them, misled, whatever the case may be. But I feel like this is also like a misery loves miserable company type of situation, right? Where, yeah, I can kind of relate to it. That's where the empathy comes in. Then it's also like, girl, he told her this, such and such, yeah. And that's where I think were some of the like attention aspect where people are like kind of drawn into it. But I mean, listen, it's working out for her. I hope that she actually is utilizing this as like a learning experience for the reason. Again, it didn't seem like he was running like superb game and like a special playbook. Like this was like, yeah, I mean, this was
See,
like,
that's what I'm saying because we're skeptics though. We're trained to be curious. We're specialists in behavior modification and assessment and all of that kind of stuff. And that's what my friend was just highlighting. That sometimes, if you're naturally a skeptic, like I am, so that's why she was telling me, because I'm like, I ain't got no empathy. I don't see how that could happen. And she's like, people that rely more on, so like dialectical behavior therapy, in order to have the wise mind, it's the rational mind and the emotional mind. And to me, I rely more on the rational. I have to focus on the psychological and the emotional needs in order to be wise. But there are some people that rely more on that emotional, psychological piece. So they only focus on how you make them feel. So you could be like, babe, like, think about it. I know y'all seen the little pictures on social media where the woman is at the register paying and the man hugged up behind her, like, and they like, she paying for it, like, this is the person is right here, then the man
that's that payday pose.
go ahead, baby.
Payday pose.
Go ahead,
he
baby.
at McDonald's holding her tight.
Go
I
ahead.
was like,
Go
I
ahead,
don't
shoot
care if the
mama.
man posing. You better not stand behind me like that, because that is the broke pose that I'm like, don't do that. Like, no. So if he played on her heartstrings, and if she's from a rural area and he was a city slicker, I mean, I don't know where he's from. His little name was Legion, but it also said, she said that he was a narcissist. And he showed her.
I
People
feel
use
like
that word so loosely.
I'm telling you,
like I don't feel. I mean, I don't know, dude. He's not my client or my patient, and I heard about the mental health diagnoses they were throwing out. But you don't have to be a narcissist just because you take advantage of somebody that's unfortunately low self-esteem.
Right. You could be an opportunist,
Yeah,
a loser, a bum.
the game is the game. Unfortunately, sometimes that's what it
bro,
is. And it's
bro,
pimping guys sometimes.
they already
It's
found
unfortunate.
him. So again, they already found him. He started to give interviews. So he's not the smooth. He's not the smoothest. He's not the smoothest guy out there. And my point is like, no, my point is it just gives you makes you more skeptical about how it went on for so long. You know what I mean? Like, again, I could see how he can paint the illusion, like, especially initially, right? You taking out to eat, you paying bills, all of those things, he's, got a lot of keeping money around. But over time, it's like, if all the person is showing you is a screenshot of money, you know what I mean, and nothing else is moving, then, there's most likely a problem,
And he looked older than her too.
Oh boy.
Is she 25? It says he looking at taking legal action.
Yeah, I was reading that.
Listen, we're gonna move on for that. He said that she cheated on him. That's what he said. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Listen, I hope that through therapy, she makes the all the self enhancements, and she gets a more effective vetting system, and so when she can navigate the dating game in a more healthy manner and make better decisions.
Man, the last place she's going is to a therapist's office, brother.
You said she's going to therapy.
She's going to CAA to cash that check and file some dates, or wherever she's going to host whatever show she gonna have, or this and that. You talking about she going to therapy, bro? She already processed the relationship.
It's an agency. What's the name agency for, like stars or whatever. So that's your
in LA.
Yeah.
Oh, creative artist agency. I never heard of this. Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so I'm staying with social media, right? You guys are familiar with the Omay Lay situation, the Nigerian singer.
I just watched that video.
Watched the video. Ash, did you see it? All right. Let me play that real quick. Hold on a second.
Man, you're gonna get the channel shut down. You're gonna get the channel flagged. What's wrong with him, man?
Get me up to speed.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about it. I ain't see it. Okay.
Call the young lady up.
So he got her out the crowd. Okay. Munir told me about this.
Yeah, it get a little wild right here.
Okay. Where's her man?
Her dude, he's in the audience. They keep flashing to him.
Okay, now that
Oh, there you go. He's
that's
taking
him
it.
shaking his hand.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Did she kiss him?
I don't know.
How long is this? Is this repeating like a real or this?
Oh, this is it. Oh, this is going.
This so
Up there for a while. He's up there for a while. He in the crowd. All right, so I'm that'll be so afterwards, right? So there's also video of him like they're walking away from the concert. The dude is walking all by himself. She's trying to walk with him. He's like, nah, whatever the case is. So turns into a big thing, right? Blows up on social media. So, of course, there was a lot of backlash on her. People were feeling bad for him, so on and so forth. Now, because we are all about journalistic integrity here at the Black Psychologist Podcast, she did do an interview, right? And she said that she revealed that she was in a defined and committed relationship with the guy, and that they both had agreed about her going up on stage to dance with the singer, right? She said that that her dude actually encouraged her to go meet him on stage or go up on stage with her, and then that she said that her man had been going through some challenging moments and that she wanted him to cool off and have a good time. That's why she bought tickets for the show. Listen.
I'm so glad you showed me this because Munir woke up this morning talking about, yo, you heard about, and he didn't say any names. He was just like, Shorty went on stage. And I was like, what's wrong with dancing? And he told us, man, I wish you would go on stage.
There you go.
Man, listen, I seen Usher and Trey Songz do the same thing, and everybody ain't complaining about it.
But see, here's the thing, because I feel like this is kind of similar to the Usher and Keke Palmer thing, but
I seen them do the same
because
thing.
They've been over. That ended her relationship.
And so that's the thing, right? So
well, there you go.
Well, see, and this is the thing, right? Even if that is true, like they had a conversation or whatever the case is, there's a whole consideration and respect manner, right? Like, it's one thing for you to go up there, you want to dance with Usher, you want to dance with Omay Lay, whoever the case, even on the other side of things, right? At the opposite end of the spectrum, say this is Nicki Minaj, say this is Cardi B, whoever, right? They pull you up on stage, you sit on a chair or whatever the case is. There's still decorum and consideration for the person that you're with, right? Going up there, you're getting handsy. You're going to because she was a willing participant in that situation. Simple as that. Now, again, everybody's relationship is different and whatever you guys agreed upon at the same time, there's still, I feel like, a factor of respect that has to go into it. Because I feel like if you're acting like that, that might be an indicator of another type of issue or some other.
But see, everybody gets what they deserve in this scenario, and this is why I'll explain to you. This is why I say this. This is not a scenario for people that are in a relationship, right? This is a scenario for a person that is single, right? This is not John Legend serenading your girl from a piano 20 rows away, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is whoever, Usher, Burna Boy, bending your girl over on stage in front of 20,000 people and having dry sex with her. Either way it goes, whether it's Nicki Minaj doing it or whether it's, this dude doing it. It's not something that people in relationships, it's not a situation you would want to be in because like a lot of of situations that are for single people, it can get out of control very quickly, right? Like, so it doesn't matter what she says she's gonna do or not do, or be respectful of or not respectful of, she or he, when you get on stage with the star in front of 20,000 people when you've been drinking, it might be a situation that you lose control of, you know, very quickly, because unless he does the same show every night, how do we know that she knew that he was going to close the veil and then dance privately with her?
Like,
and then
he takes people, he pulls someone out the audience, so he does that all the time.
All right, well then there you go, and it comes back to my original point. It's exactly why they were walking separately afterwards, because her man's stomach couldn't take it. You know what I mean? And likewise, if it's his girl, he shouldn't be able to take it, right? Unless they're, you know, unless they have some type of alternative lifestyle or open relationship, more power to them. But it all circles back to my original point. This is not something for people that are in relationships. It's for single people. Everything ain't for everybody.
Ash, what you think? You said you do. He woke up. He woke up like I wish somebody would.
So listen, I don't think it's grounds to end a relationship, but I do have a more flirty, fun personality. And with that being said, I do, and I am more mindful now though, because like, you know, I'm in a sorority, and the brothers that are the fraternity are known for being nasty. And so when we meet and greet, you know, sometimes it's hugging, sometimes it's picking up, sometimes it's, you know, just things that, like you said, Jay, it could just happen so fast, or that's been the relationship, you know, because it's brotherly, sisterly, and maybe some like borderline flirtiness or whatever. But I do think that it's not grounds to end a relationship, because like you said, caught up in the moment. But I was, you know, but to me, it's important to know your partner. And my goal is to never disrespect who I'm with or make them feel a certain way. So you already know going into it if it's gonna make that person feel a certain way. Now, I did have to pitch to him, well, what if we was at the Megan Thee Stallion concert and she said she wanted you to, you know, come backstage and hang out. He like, well, where you at? And I'm like, I'm back there too. He like, well, I would check with you. I said, what if she wanted to do a twerk TikTok on you? And then he told me, well, that's Meg, you know, I'm never gonna see her again. And you know, but he did have preliminary protocols to check in with me. But I do think it's a little bit different when it's women versus men, because she did go down like she was kind of on her knees, getting her knees dirty. And that's kind of, you know, usually men are just gonna stand there if they, even like if it's a quick lap dance or whatever. But I do think everybody has to do what works for them. But I am a little more flexible where that comes from. Because at the end of the day, you know your partner. You know what I'm saying? And I know I've dated some guys that if they did that, I already know that he gonna be sleeping with her when I ain't around. Like, you know, because that's how they move. It's all about character. But I do think that if we was out in Vegas or wherever we at, Atlanta, at Magic City or whatever, and a girl come and she bouncing it, I wouldn't be like, oh, you disrespecting me, blah, 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 you know.
I think that's, to me, I think that's different, because I think it's different because me as a man, right? I know women go to strip clubs, right? I know they go to bachelor parties. You know what I mean? So I know what goes on there, you know, because again, I've been to the gentleman's club. You know what I mean? So my point is, even most people in their relationship are gonna have one of three rules, right? Either you're gonna be with the type of girl that it thinks if you go to a strip club, you're cheating on her, right? The type that'll go to the strip club with you, or the type that's like, yo, go to the strip club, you have fun, which means there's an arbitrary line in the sand, right? I don't know what the line is. Throw money at them, don't touch them. Touch them, don't bring them home. I don't know, but there's a line in the sand. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I agree totally with what you're saying, and I think most people would, right? Because most people, if their girl likes Chris Brown and they buy him tickets to a Chris Brown concert, and Chris Brown's like, yo, can I take a picture with her? And he puts his arm around her or hugs her, you're not gonna have an argument on the way home. You know what I'm saying? Now that's different than if you take your girl to a Chris Brown concert and she disappeared for an hour and a half backstage, and you wandering around outside trying to figure out how you gonna get home. That's different. And
that's
I
big
think
bank. That's big bank. Take little bank.
right. And I mean that can happen either way. But you know, regardless of who's in the situation, male, female. But my point is, I think the situation Ashley brought up is a regular situation, right? Like, yo, we're in Vegas. We're going to, baby, you want to go to a strip club? Nah, that ain't my thing. But you and Kyle go, but you know, da 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 da. Or don't go, or I'm go with y'all. You know what I mean? But that's to me is different than, you know, you looking up, you know what I'm saying, and a whole bunch of lines that have been crossed and a whole bunch, you know, got out of control a whole bunch of ways, you know.
And I think
But I
that's
just
true.
don't think it's a single person thing, you know.
I think that's it, and I'm gonna tease out the combination of both of what you said, right? I think the difference is typically if it's a situation where you are at the strip club, you typically going with your friends, right? In a situation like you know what already goes on at a strip club, so a lap dance, whatever the case is, like cool, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, you have fun, you're with your people, right? This is different in the sense of one, because it's happening in front of a crowd of people and you got the social media aspect which is heightening things, they keep panning back and forth to him, right, in between the things, and now you're seeing it, and then that whole element, right, because you have to include that variable, the fact that you're seeing it along with other people, they gassing him up, oh, all these other different sound effects and different things, and you're seeing it take place, right? Also, you got to have that respect or that communication beforehand, right? You got to know who you're with. Like if you know the person that you're with, male or female, tends to be a little inflexible and is like maybe a little bit more possessive, then you don't even go on that stage, because whether it's a celebrity or it's the person around the corner, they're going to feel a certain type of way with you being touched by another individual. Now, again, if you with somebody and you guys are kind of more flexible, cool, and it's like, all right, it's Usher. All right, man, listen, you're going to go up there, Usher. He going to give you a lap dance, whatever the case is, cool, because it's Usher. We're not going to have a problem. And then, so it's really important to know your audience, right? Know the person that you're with. And don't have that conversation or that respect factor. Again, it may not be a deal breaker, but that could absolutely be the beginning of like, I'm gonna start maybe looking at you differently, or there might be an indicator like bigger issues.
Dang, looking at me differently, like. Yo. But what about Swiss and Alicia? Swiss and Alicia had that thing where Alicia was with Usher during the thing, and he had a whole dialogue about that, and you know they still solid. You know what I'm saying? Like some people.
You know what's
gonna say,
right? But you know, the changing variable with that is that Swiss was like, "Cool, she up there, she's singing, they performing." So he didn't get right.
And listen, I don't want to play this character.
He walked off,
but
you know?
But I think roles play. Listen, people who are in entertainment and people who are famous have different ideas of that. Like I'm not trying to like. First of all, they're both
you in entertainment. Somebody was asking about this podcast today, and I was telling them, you know what I'm saying. It's only a matter of time before you somewhere else. So you what?
Yeah, I keep trying to tell him, man. We entertainers.
Okay. No, I'm just saying. I think they got different views, man. Like how can I say this without going too left? Like the same way how not normal people, same way how for regular people who are on the ground like us, right? It's not necessarily mainstream for somebody to be in a marriage with somebody who's like an adult entertainment star, porn star, right? Now, if you're a rapper or entertainer or actor or you're rich, it's normalized, right? Kanye West, Tiger, like these dudes, like yo, they are seeking out girlfriends who are in that industry, right? Because within their world, it gives them status, right? So I'm not making a direct comparison, but what I'm saying is somebody like Swiss Beats is not gonna look at, yo, people are looking at my girlfriend, it makes me insecure. He might be looking at it like, yo, it makes me feel powerful that everybody got their eyes on her and Usher. Now,
right.
Joe Schmo ain't gonna think like that. He gonna feel intimidated.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Because it might be Mr. Take Your Girl. Look, I posted on Facebook a status and I said, hey fellas, what are you gonna do if a guy comes up and flash money, take your chicken, ask you what now? Like, Cameron said, yeah, I'm from Harlem, Uptown, where we flash money, take your and ask you what now? Yeah. At least the dude wasn't disrespectful because he could have said, he could have went and said what now like that. Like y'all got the era of entertainers that we've come from. Cash, like I wish that I was partying when Cash Money was having concerts because I done heard about them concerts. I wouldn't be on stage, but I definitely wanted to be in the mix.
Listen, man. Listen, that's
Because
that.
I knew I was gonna be somebody one day, and like you said, that footage, man, like
That
you
footage,
can't, ain't no
man.
getting away from that. So,
Nah.
to me, I can't even imagine being like in my role now as a professor and that kind of video going viral of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you are a part of like a profession like we are, we can't even engage in that kind of stuff unless you got, mask on,
PDAs.
a wig, glasses.
Yeah, and unless you like a sex therapist or something, you're gonna spin it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Like,
Now,
And
Jay,
then
you cooking, brother. You real
I
good.
have to be 100% private practice then, because ain't no university set still ain't
that's
fooling with you with that.
the only way to spin it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, listen, man. I hope that their situation works out. Those individuals, I hope they work things out. But yeah, you got to be careful. Be respectful of your partner. That's the way I'm gonna summarize that. Real quick before we get out of here, Ashley, because I know you got to go. I asked Jay this a couple of episodes ago, and I wanted to get your input. Right. All right. Right now, I want you to. It's a hypothetical. Right now, as you are, would you rather be happily in a relationship and only make 75 grand a year, right? But you're in a happy relationship, or would you rather be miserably single and you're making 300? I'm gonna tell you what Jay and I both choose, but I want to hear from you. Miserably single, making 300K, right? Or happily in your relationship and you're only making, I don't want to say only, but you're making 75K right now as you are. And this goes on for the rest of eternity.
75K and happy.
Okay. All right.
Because the 325, let me get clarity now. I'm miserable.
You're miserably single.
Oh.
So like you can still have relationships like kind of one-off, but I mean
but they're never satisfying.
You're never satisfied. You're not happy because you're not finding that one, right? So you're miserably single, but you're making 300K.
Now y'all know I love money. Like Munir get on me about he like you do anything for money. You know what I'm saying? He hard on me when it comes to that chicken because I do love it. I ain't
Listen,
gonna
I seen the earrings that you switched out of. I saw.
Oh, you
I saw that. I was like,
look, I did that intentionally because I was like, you know what's crazy? I'm ready to talk about
I'm the
that
same
later.
way, Ashley. That's what I'm saying. So I see it. I was like, well, she gonna take them off for the casual. Listen,
yeah, I'm gonna take them off. I had
I was like,
look, I had on the Louis Vuitton headband earlier, but like somebody called it out, was like, oh, I see you. I had the earrings, so I would say happy in 75 because I could move back south, and 75 goes a longer way in the country than it does here. So because when I think about like well-being, like y'all know I've been single, I was single for a while before I got into a relationship, and I got married in my 30s, like some of those stereotypes that come with being an independent, strong Black woman. I identify as all of those, but I don't view being strong as depressing or anything like that. So I could, but to not find somebody that I could have that enjoyment with at this stage of life, that is what I prefer over the latter. But damn, that's like a $225,000 difference or something. Like
so
that's
Jay,
a lot of chicken right there.
Jay said he would be miserable. He would be happy. Jay said he would be happy with 75K in a relationship. Me, I'm taking that 300K, baby. I'm gonna just be miserable. Listen, I told you, I am not wavering on that.
Yeah, I'm moving back. I'm
gonna be
that's a hard one.
single.
Like, oh my gosh, that's so.
I'm gonna invite y'all
imagine
to the
what you could do with 300. Like, how much is that a month? Like,
more than enough. More than I need. Listen, and I told
that's 27 grand a month before taxes.
Look, I told Jay, you and him, y'all both can bring your families to the cookout, to the barbecue, to my acres of land, and I'll be. I'll
you
have
also
a different person every week. I'm good with that.
You also already have a child too.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
so I'm good. Yeah.
we gonna have to come. Balling.
take that.
Dang, yo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be miserable, but listen, I'll be all right though. Be all right.
And it's just miserably single. So like,
It's miserably
like
single.
not finding it ain't.
Yeah, I'm
Like
gonna,
that's
I'm
why
gonna
I
have a
had
little.
to clarify because I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm not just miserable.
It's not
I got
miserable.
other rewarding relationships. It's just
your
my
love life.
romantic ones.
yeah, just
So
to have
it's
found
really
love,
just
have a
2
little
times a year.
that'll be.
You straight the rest of the year. It's just Thanksgiving and Christmas. You just gonna feel crazy, you know.
I got football. It's good. I got football in the NBA. I'll be all right.
Yeah. After that,
At the game, I'll be there.
it's good.
Courtside.
Would you move?
Probably. I gotta move to where where they be at. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be out there with the
But
heel.
look, when you can have like, if it's a spectrum of miserable, and this is like extreme misery and this low level misery, you want to go with a low level misery.
Low level. I'm gonna be unhappy. It's gonna be. I'm gonna be spending a lot of money doing therapy.
You're gonna crash out for that
This
300
was
grand.
good. I love when I get on here with y'all. Like I gotta teach till 10 tonight. I'm hoping that we end a little bit early, but this was definitely a great pre-class engagement.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Ash. Again, this is a thing to come of again with the Psychology of Love edition of the Black Psychologist podcast. So we appreciate you because you are our family, not only, you know what I mean, in medicine, but just because you're an amazing human being and a friend to us. And you were in the trenches with us as we were going through our graduate program. We all survived and now we're thriving. So we appreciate it. Catch her on the Conversation with the Kennys, teaching at an academia near you. Also a part of Sisters in Medicine. She's doing big, amazing things in the community, educating individuals regarding mental health and other different medical ailments. And so, absolutely, we will keep them abreast of everything that you're doing. Keep us posted so we can continue to highlight all of your accomplishments and going on in your endeavors. Anything else before we get out of here, Jay?
No, just of course we want to thank Ashley for joining us, and everybody for hanging with us. We appreciate the support. We're gonna keep the content coming, so appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for having me, and we shall return soon.
All right.
Definitely.